Hello, my name is Matthew Hendrickson, and today I will be covering the 2025 Watercraft Inspection Program Year-End Summary. A draft for this year's 2025 year-end report can be found in the December 18th regular board packet. The Watershed's Watercraft Inspection Program would not nearly be as successful without the funding contributions from a variety of entities. In 2025, there were 6 other entities besides the district that contributed to funding the 2025 season. This included the Aquatic Invasive Species Prevention Aid Program for both Washington and Chisago counties, the City of Scandia, the Bone Lake Association, Comfort Lake Association, and Scandia Marines Lions Club. In 2025, the year-end Watercraft Inspection Program contributions totaled $85,386. This includes the 676 hours, a value of $15,886 of service provided by the DNR. Figure 1 illustrates the year-end financial contributions to the 2025 Watercraft Inspection Program. Figure 2 summarizes the total number of inspection hours and inspections completed district-wide since 2014. In 2025, district-wide watercraft inspectors performed 6,053 inspections and worked 3,562 hours, averaging approximately 1.7 inspections per hour. Overall, the hourly seasonal goal, which is 3,482.5 hours, was met with a total of 3,562.75 hours being worked by inspectors this season. It is worth noting that there were slightly fewer inspections completed this year when compared to the previous 8 seasons. However, several factors could have influenced this, such as the ongoing road construction limiting access to the North Shore Trail area, or potentially the no-wake restrictions for Bone Lake resulting from higher water levels during the peak of the 2025 watercraft inspection season. Though, as we can historically observe, there was quite a large spike in public boater activity during the 2020 season, and this could just be public watercraft activity naturally correcting itself to a more regular level. Figure 3 shows the inspection hours at each axis and the percentage of the total hours in 2025. During the 2025 season, inspectors spent 1,346.5 hours, or 38% of all inspection hours at Forest West. Forest East had the second highest hours completed with 642.75 hours, approximately 18% of all hours. Comfort and Bone only had a 20-hour difference, with Comfort completing 562 hours, or 16%, and Bone completing 542 hours, or 15%. The least amount of inspection hours was completed at Forest Central, coming in at 469.5 hours in total, or 13%. Of the 6,053 inspections performed, 4,548 inspections over the duration of 2,390.25 hours were performed by Comfort Lake Forest Lake Watershed District watercraft inspectors. Chisago County inspectors worked 496.5 hours and performed 577 inspections, or approximately 10% of all inspections. The DNR worked for 676 hours, completing 928 inspection surveys, approximately 15%. The total number of inspections completed by each of the 3 parties can be found in the figures for. The total number of hours worked by each of the 3 entities is shown in figure 5. The number of district-wide inspection hours and inspection rate throughout the season can be seen in figure 6, along with the inspection goal of 133.94 hours. The district started the 2025 watercraft season with 4 Comfort Lake Forest Lake Watershed District inspectors. 3 of these inspectors were returning from previous seasons. Additional inspectors were hired as the season progressed, and by mid-June we were able to provide full weekend coverage. There are some spikes during the season in inspections per hour, which could be attributed to holidays, seasonal changes, and watercraft inspector availability. A summary of contaminants entering and exiting along with drain plug violations can be found in Figure 8. 61 watercraft arrived at district lakes with 63 contaminants such as plants, animals, mud, or water on their equipment, approximately 1% of all arriving watercraft, whereas 639 watercraft were exiting that found to have contaminants, which was around 10.5% of all exiting watercraft. Then we had 13 watercraft arriving at district lakes that required the removal of the bilge drainage plug, or around 0.4% of all arriving watercraft. Table 2 shows the number of watercrafts entering the district's lakes that had reported last being in an AIS-infested lake. While the district has taken action to monitor and manage the spread of aquatic invasive species, or AIS, prevention remains the most effective management strategy. One of the main goals of the district's watercraft inspection program is to prevent any introduction of new AIS that have not yet spread to district lakes. Starry stonewort and the spiny water flea are two examples of aquatic invasive species found in Minnesota that are not yet in any of the region's lakes. 94 boats launched into district lakes came from lakes infested with starry stonewort, which is an increase from what was observed in 2024 when 43 watercraft were inspected coming from infested waters. Though only 19 boats launched into district lakes coming from lakes infested with spiny water flea, this number used to be 72 in 2024. Figure 10 summarizes the total number of inspection hours and inspections conducted on Bone Lake since 2014. This watercraft inspected 542 hours of inspections, which resulted in 535 inspections being completed. This comes out to an average of 0.99 inspections per hour. For 2025, the seasonal hourly goal was 542.5 hours, which indicates that we met 99.9% of our annual goal hours. A total of 535 surveys were performed on Bone Lake in 2025. Findings and a summary of results from the compiled inspection survey data for Bone Lake can be found below in Figure 11. 2 watercraft arrived at Bone Lake with plants, animals, mud, or water on their watercraft, whereas 45 watercraft were exiting that had contaminants. Overall, though, 0 watercraft required the removal of the bilge drainage plug upon arriving at Bone Lake. As for invasives, 7 boats launching into Bone Lake came from lakes infested with starry stonewort, along with 3 boats launching into Bone that came from lakes infested with spiny water flea. During the 2025 season, watercraft inspectors performed 562 hours of inspections on Comfort Lake, with a total of 775 inspections being completed. Inspectors averaged 1.38 inspections per hour. A summary is provided in Figure 12. For 2025, the seasonal hourly goal was 525, which indicates that we met 107% of our season goal hours. Findings and a summary of the results from the compiled inspection survey data for Comfort Lake can be found in Figure 13. A total of 775 surveys were conducted on Comfort Lake this season. 1 watercraft arrived at the lake with plants, animals, mud, or water on their watercraft, whereas 18 watercraft were exiting with contaminants. Overall, though, 0 watercraft required the removal of the bilge or drainage plug upon arriving at Comfort Lake. Speaking of invasives, 12 watercraft launched into Comfort Lake coming from lakes infested with starry stonewort, whereas 7 watercraft launching into Comfort Lake came from lakes infested with spiny water flea.
For Forest Lake in 2025, Comfort Lake Forest Lake Watershed District watercraft inspectors performed 1,559.25 hours of inspections. The DNR inspectors performed 676 hours, and Chisago inspectors performed 223.5 hours for a grand total of 2,458.75 hours at the Forest Lake public accesses. The seasonal hour goal was 2,415, which indicates that we met 102% of our annual goal hours. The district inspectors inspected 3,468 watercraft, whereas DNR inspectors inspected 928 watercraft, and Chisago inspected 347, totaling 4,743 inspections. An inspection rate of 1.93 inspections per hour was achieved by the district, Chisago, and DNR. Of course, a summary of this information is presented in Figure 14 and Tables 3 through 5 in the report. Figure 15 shows the findings and a summary of the results from compiled inspection survey data for Forest Lake. A total of 4,743 inspections were performed on Forest Lake this season. 60 watercraft arrived at Forest with plants, animals, mud, or water on their watercraft. 13 of these required removal of the bilge or drainage plug upon arriving at Forest Lake, whereas 625 watercraft exited Forest with plants, animals, mud, or water present. Speaking of invasive, 75 boats launched into Forest Lake came from waters infested with starry stonewort, whereas only 9 boats launching into Forest Lake came from lakes infested with spiny water flea. District staff will continue to work towards improving the watercraft inspection program for 2026. Ultimately, though, the success of the season would not be possible without the district's partners, the community, and local lake associations. Their continuous financial support and feedback are greatly appreciated and tremendously help the program continue to thrive and grow.